Now I'm going to show you in a little more detail what's in these separate kits that we took out of the pack. So let's start with first aid. And again, with first aid, I am not a minimalist. I'm going to carry a lighter, rubber gloves. I do have a tourniquet in here that I know how to use. I do have a chest seal, and I do have Israeli bandage and combat gauze. And then I have all the normal stuff that you would find in a first aid kit. I have Leuco tape for blisters, which is really good stuff if you start to get a blister. Right here, wrapped around the pencil. I have some moleskin, I have band-aids, I have Benadryl, painkillers, I have some melatonin to help me sleep. I have some aloe wipes in case you get burned, toothpicks, floss. I have some first aid super glue in case you got to glue a wound together. A lot of people laugh at me about this, but I carry a thing of hand lotion up there. If you've ever gutted an elk, blood will dry your hands out more than you can imagine. So I really like to have some hand lotion on me. Again, more Leuco tape, gauze. Anything from a bad injury all the way down to just a boo-boo I have in here. My buddy has some medical issues, so I will help carry some of his medication in here as backup. So pretty basic first aid kit, but I am prepared to deal with a gunshot wound, God forbid. And an extra lighter, always. Also some water filter tablets inside of here. So that's a first aid kit. Inside the possibles pouch, this is one of my favorites, an extra little water filter. You can just drink right out of the stream like a straw with this if you need to. Rubber gloves. Everybody knows what that is. I also like to carry some wipes. I won't take this whole bag, but I'll put a few of these in a Ziploc baggie and take those with me. Again, not just for their intended use, but when you're done gutting the elk or whatever, you're going to need these to clean your hands off. A little tiny extra Petzl headlamp, just in case. This thing's micro. Great little headlamp, and it's super tiny. That was the extra battery that just popped out of there. But little micro headlamp, just in case. Survival blanket. Again, this one is far better than those little cheapies that you get. This is an SOL emergency bivvy in case I had to stay out all night. Paracord, 1,000 uses for this, from tying up meat, keeping it away from bears, to making a shelter, to tying your elk up or having to move the elk, whatever. There's a ton of use for paracord. Extra glow stick in case you need to mark something. And then this has fire starter in it. It has multiple ways to start a fire. It has tape for, this is gear aid tape for fixing a pad, fixing a tent, fixing a down jacket, anything like that. You can repair it. And there's some gear aid strips there. I have a fire starter, a Ferris rod, and a striker. I've got a survival match that I made and some fire starter in here. So I should be able to get a fire started with what's in here, even if it's really wet out. I also have everybody's favorite, the Bic lighter, and this is in an Exotac waterproof lighter case. These things aren't cheap, but they'll keep your Bic lighter waterproof and keep it from being depressed in your bag and all of the fluid leaking out of it. Some Kevlar string, survival whistle, compass. I do know how to read a map and a compass. Combine that with the GPS and I should have several methods to find my way. Magnifying lens. I'd hate to have to start a fire with that, but I've got it just in case. An extra bladder that goes with the Sawyer filter. the straw that goes with the Sawyer filter, and some tooth hygiene stuff, toothpicks and a toothbrush. So that's in the possibles pouch. Again, that's gear if you had to stay out overnight. That's kind of your survival gear. And then the rest of this is my kill kit. Pretty simple. Electrical tape, tons of uses for this. I hope I'm going to be using it for taping the tag on the animal, but electrical tape has 100 uses. Marker tape for marking a blood trail, marking the animal, marking a trail for a friend, something like that. And an extra bladder. You don't want to be without water because your bladder popped. I do like the Havalon knives. I do like this one because it has a fixed blade, and it also has one of the super sharp replaceable blade knives. So these things are nice, but if you have to pop a joint or something like that to get a leg off, or these fixed blade knives come in handy. Extra blades. I can do an elk with maybe 2 or 3 of these blades, no problem, but I carry a few extra. And I do like a fixed blade knife, like I said, so I have this little Essie Azulu knife. I really like this knife. It's tiny, but it is sharp and it holds a good edge. So I have that with me. Gloves and a knife sharpener. Just a simple diamond stone knife sharpener to get an edge on this if I need to. And inside of here is a contractor bag, trash bag. Several things for this. If I needed to, I can make a shelter out of it. I can lay it down and lay the meat out as I'm cutting the meat up so it doesn't end up dirty. If I got flies, I can cover it. And then the other thing with this is if you have to leave the meat out overnight and it's warm out, you can put it in here and submerge it in a river, and it'll keep the meat cold without it getting wet and ruining the meat. So lots of uses for this contractor garbage bag. And then game bags. I have enough of the Kuyu game bags in here to do an entire boned out elk. We're going to be 4 miles back in the wilderness on this trip, backpack, so if we get something, we're definitely going to be boning it out and not carrying any unneeded weight off the mountain. So game bags are a must. So that gives you a little more detail of what was in each of the kits that go in the pack. So I hope that helps. If anybody has questions, leave them in the comments and we'll try to do our best at answering that. Also, I'm going to do a review on some of this stuff once the trip's over and let you know how things worked out. So again, if you like the video, hit like and please subscribe to our channel, and good luck out hunting. Thanks a lot.